everyone. My name is Alexa Shane and Roldan, and I will be your reporter for the Unit 7 Professionalism and Transformative Education. Today we'll be tackling about the 21st century teacher. These include the way of thinking, the way of working, tools for working, skills for living in the world. First, here are the objectives. At the end of the lesson, the student will be able to understand the way of teaching of 21st century teachers, differentiate the way of teaching of the 21st century teacher from the past century teacher, appreciate the skill of the teacher to use different tools for teaching. First, let us talk about the way of thinking of a 21st century teacher. The focus of the 21st century teacher is on the student by developing higher order thinking skills, effective communication, collaboration, and other skills that they need in the 21st century. Teacher must develop new teaching strategies that are radically different. So, under the ways of thinking of the 21st century teacher, there is always a creativity, critical thinking, decision making, problem solving, and making and learning. So what are these? First is the creativity. Creativity lights up the brain. Teachers who frequently assign classwork involving creativity are more likely to observe higher order thinking skills, problem solving, critical thinking, making connection between subject and their student. Critical thinking can be introduced with effective questioning. Teacher must guide the student toward the fine art of questioning. Student may times struggle to understand the nuisance in a question and are not able to give the expected answer. So when we say the critical thinking, we have to give an open-ended question to the student so that they can explain what they are thinking. They are not limited only to the yes or no answer. Next is the decision making. An excellent teacher is an excellent decision maker. Excellent teacher can make decisions based on attaining the most positive result for their student, demonstrate flexibility in dealing with change, influence others by their action, create a scenery among colleagues, and build conscious teamwork. So as a 21st century teacher, you have to be a good decision making so that your decision may affect the people around you in a positive way. Next is the problem solving. Problem solving is a learner-centered approach that emphasizes the learner's active involvement in the learning process. In this approach, teachers create a problematic situation for students and then assist them in perceiving, defining, and stating the problems in a fear-free classroom environment. Next is the way of working of the 21st century teachers. Teaching in the 21st century is quite different from teaching in the centuries before it. The 21st century teacher has his or her role redefined. Teachers in the 21st century are learning facilitator rather than the instructor. This century, the role of teacher has become more robust than it was. So, as we all know, the ways of working of the 21st century are very different from the past century. So, next is the communication and collaboration. It helps improve relationship, increase understanding, and model positive interaction. Being an effective collaborator means not only being able to work with others but also being able to learn from, share with, and express oneself to them. So through next is tools for working. The 21st century is a timeline of rapid change, and while the brain may not be changing much, the tools we use to feed it are. This puts 21st century teachers in a critical spot of mastering constantly evolving technologies and digital learning tools, the same tools their students use every day. So as we all know, 21st century has been developing a lot of different tools for teaching that the teacher can use in presenting different or presenting their lesson to the student. Below are the tools of 21st century teacher for working. First is the computer. It allows you to complete a range of tasks covering both administrative and educational activities. You may use an in-classroom computer or a laptop you bring with you each day. So computer is an important tools for a 21st century teachers because you can do a lot of things here, or you can use it for especially for presenting your lesson to your students. Digital whiteboard. It replaces a black or whiteboard in the classroom with a digital screen. Digital whiteboard may include touchscreen capabilities or rely on external control through a computer or app. So when we hear about digital whiteboard, it is very obvious that it is advanced. It is an advanced technology which replaces the traditional whiteboard or blackboard that we are used to. Next is the educational games. So it is very common for educators to provide an educational games for the student. Making fun learning can be an excellent way to help your students learn the information you are teaching. So this engages the student to a more fun and enjoyable learning environment so that they could learn with excitement and collaborate with their peers. Next is grading software. Grade book program are popular method of managing student grades. These programs allows you to enter scores for each student on different assignment, adjusting the grading scale and weight of each assignment at desired. Next is the messaging apps. Communication is important in a classroom both during and after school. So we already know what these apps are. For example, the messenger apps or the messages that we can use to as a 21st century teacher can use to contact or to communicate with their student or with the parents of the student that needed a guidance. Messaging applications are valuable tools for remaining in contact with the student and their parents. Next is the presentation software. So this is very common even for the student, not only for the teachers. It allows you to create slide to project or display on a digital screen. You can include multimedia elements into your presentation to make them more engaging and informative. This can help you keep your student focused on your lesson, which may have positive impact on their retention and educational growth. So as a 21st century teacher, you have to think of a best way to present your lesson to the student that could engage them in a more positive environment and enjoyable learning while in schools. So you must learn the different software that you can use for presenting your lesson. Next is the skills for living in the world. The importance of 21st century skill for teachers cannot be overstated, as these skills are important in preparing students for the challenges and opportunities of the modern world. Not only for the student but also for the teachers to become a productive member of the society to help and contribute to their community in any way possible. First is first skills that the teacher 21st century teacher must have is to be creative. One of the most important 21st century skills for teacher is to be creative. A creative mind will always be able to come up with different ways of approaching problems. It's all about finding new and fun ways to solve problems and teach lessons. Next is to continue learning. For teachers of the 21st century, it is important to embrace the concept of lifelong learning. To stay relevant as well as effective, educators need to continuously update their knowledge and skills. Next is the critical thinking. Critical thinking is another one of the most important 21st century skills for teachers. It involves not just observing the information but evaluating, questioning, and challenging it. Next is the leadership and management skill. Another important teaching skill for teacher is leadership and management, which is vital for both classroom success and professional growth. Effective classroom leadership skills involves inspiring students, creating an inclusive environment, and setting clear educational goals. So that will be all for this report. I hope you understand and thank you.